Hello, today we're going to read a story and we're going to focus on the reading skill cause and effect. We are always looking at this in our everyday lives. You can think about it in terms of consequences. An action will have a reaction. When we do or say something, um, something will happen because of it. It can be positive, it can be negative, but everything that we do ripples out and leads to something else. And so, or anything that happens will lead to something else. So, for example, it may rain for days and days and days and then flood your basement. Why is the basement flooded? Because it rained for days and days without stopping. You may say something mean to somebody and they don't want to talk to you for a few days. Why don't they want to talk to you? Because you said something unkind. You got first place at the track meet. Why did you do that? Why did you get first place? Because you were practicing it every day and working really hard. All of those things cause an effect. So you can think about it as why that something happened. So we'll be looking at that today in our story. I'm going to change up your follow-up work for this lesson. I'm going to put a little bit more to it. We'll be reading a story. There's also another short story that goes along with it. So day 1, for after you finish the story, you'll be completing the graphic organizer for cause and effect. That answers questions and goes along with the reading, the main story that we read. Day 2, you will be doing the writing about response for the story. And I'll show you this as we go, and I'll also write it down. Day 3, I'll have you do the text to text, comparing, and I'll show it to you, comparing the main text that we're reading plus the very short one. And then Thursday, it'll just be a little grammar follow-up work that goes along with this lesson. So do what you can. If it's too much, if it's overwhelming, I know everybody has different home situations right now. So if there's a part of this work that you don't get completed, that's okay. Just do your best and it's all good. So I will also upload this document with the story and all of the additional follow-up work to Google Classroom so you can submit it there. I know that some of us were having a difficult time accessing the work on Seesaw, so I'm sorry about that. I will include it on Google Classroom, and that's where you can submit. Or if you want to go ahead and submit through Seesaw, since there's multiple days of follow-up work, you may want to, like, day by day take pictures of the work and then submit it on one day, like on Thursday or Friday or over the weekend. Submit all of it together. So your choice. Again, going to be flexible about this. So we're figuring it out as we go. But this week, I'm just going to show you the vocabulary. You don't have to do anything with that. I will include it with the lesson if you want to read through it, and if you're looking for more to do, you can look up those words that you're not quite sure what they mean. You can use them in sentences. You can even challenge yourself to write a story using as many of the words as you can. Those are all optional things. So I know some of us want more, some of us want less. Do what you can do, okay? So there's our vocabulary in context. In context means, con means in, text means our text, our words. So within the story, we'll be seeing these words. And I already talked a little bit about our target skill. I'll go ahead and read this with you. It says, target skill, cause and effect. In Half Chicken, some events cause other events to happen. The first event is the cause. The second event is the effect. To figure out how the events might be connected, ask yourself what happens and why. Look for text evidence in the words and pictures to help you find the answers. Use a chart like this one below to list causes and effects in a story. So this is your follow-up work for Monday, you will be on a sheet of paper making 2 columns, cause, effect. Okay? And I encourage you, whenever you use text evidence, you can include that on the page, effect found on page 314, whatever. Okay? Our topic of the story is, this is a traditional story. People have been telling traditional stories or folk tales for many years. Folk tales often tell about events that could not happen in real life. Characters in folk tales often learn a lesson. A folk tale may also explain why something is the way it is. In Half Chicken, you will read about an important lesson that the main character learns. So here's our story. Half Chicken by Alma Flor Ada, illustrated by Kim Howard. And if you want to read more about the author and illustrator, that's there on that page. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to page 316, where our story begins. Have you ever seen a weather vane? Do you know why there is a little rooster on one end, spinning around to let us know which way the wind is blowing? Well, I'll tell you. It's an old, old story that my grandmother once told me, and before that, her grandmother told it to her. It goes like this. A long, long time ago, on a Mexican ranch, a mother hen was sitting on her eggs. One by one, the baby chicks began to hatch, leaving their empty shells behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 chicks had hatched, but the last egg still had not cracked open. The hen did not know what to do. The chicks were running here and there, and she could not chase after them because she was still sitting on the last egg. Finally, there was a tiny sound. The baby chick was pecking at its egg from the inside. The hen quickly helped it break open the shell, and at last the 13th chick came out into the world. Yet this was no ordinary chick. He had only one wing, only one leg, only one eye, and only half as many feathers as the other chick. In there. It was not long before everyone at the ranch knew that a very special chick had been born. The ducks told the turkeys told the pigeons told the swallows, and the swallows flew over the fields, spreading the news to the cows grazing peacefully with their calves, the fierce bulls, and the swift horses. We've got some great adjectives in this story. Ooh. Soon, the hen was surrounded by animals who wanted to see the strange chick. One of the ducks said, "But he only has one wing." And one of the turkeys added, "Why, he's only half a chicken. He's only a half chicken." From then on, everyone called him Half Chicken. And Half Chicken, finding himself at the center of all this attention, became very vain. Oh, vain. One day he overheard the swallows, who traveled a great deal, talking about him. "Not even at the court of the Viceroy in Mexico City is there anyone so unique." Then Half Chicken decided that it was time for him to leave the ranch. Early one morning he said his farewells, announcing, "Goodbye, goodbye, I'm off to Mexico City to see the court of the Viceroy," and hip hop, off he went, hippity-hoppeting along on his only foot. Half Chicken had not walked very far when he found a stream whose waters were blocked by some branches. "Good morning, Half Chicken. Would you please move the branches that are blocking my way?" asked the stream. Half Chicken moved the branches aside, but when the stream suggested that he stay a while and take a swim, he answered, "I have no time to lose. I'm off to Mexico City to see the court of the Viceroy." And hip hop, off he went, hippity-hopping along on his only foot. A little while later, Half Chicken found a small fire burning between some rocks. The fire was almost out. The fire was almost out. "Good morning, Half Chicken. Please fan me a little with your wing, for I am about to go out," asked the fire. Half Chicken fanned the fire with his wing, and it blazed up again. But when the fire suggested that he stay a while and warm up, he answered, "I have no time to lose. I'm off to Mexico City to see the court of the Viceroy." And hip hop, off he went, hippity hopping along his only foot. After he'd walked a little farther, Half Chicken found the wind tangled in some bushes. "Good morning, Half Chicken. Would you please untangle me so that I can go on my way?" asked the wind. Half Chicken untangled the branches, but when the wind suggested that he stay and play, and offered to help him fly here and there like a dry leaf, he answered, "I have no time to lose. I'm off to Mexico City to see the court of the Viceroy." And hip hop, off he went, hippity hoppeting along on his only foot. At last he reached Mexico City. Half Chicken crossed the enormous great plaza. He passed the stalls laden with meat, fish, vegetables, fruit, cheese, and honey. He passed the Parian, the market where all kinds of beautiful goods were sold. Finally, he reached the gate of the Viceroy's palace. "Good afternoon," said Half Chicken to the guards in fancy uniforms who stood in front of the palace. "I've come to see the Viceroy." One of the guards began to laugh. The other one said, "You'd better go in around the back and through the kitchen." So Half Chicken went, hip hop, around the palace and to the kitchen door. The cook who saw him said, "What luck! This chicken is just what I need to make a soup for the Viceroy." And he threw Half Chicken into a kettle of water that was sitting on the fire. When Half Chicken felt how hot the water was, he said, "Oh, fire, help me! Please don't burn me." So it says here, point of view, how does the cook feel about using Half Chicken in the soup? How does Half Chicken feel about it? So they have different points of view. The cook, he feels really excited. Half Chicken, not so much. The fire answered, "You helped me when I needed help. Now it's my turn to help you. Ask the water to jump on me and put me out." Then Half Chicken asked the water, "Oh, water, help me. Please jump on the fire and put him out so he won't burn me." And the water answered, "You helped me when I needed help. Now it's my turn to help you." And he jumped on the fire and put him out. When the cook returned, he saw that the water had spilled and the fire was out. "The chicken had been more trouble than he's worth," exclaimed the cook. "Besides, one of the ladies in waiting just told me that the Viceroy doesn't want any soup. She wants to eat nothing but salad." And he picked Half Chicken up by his only leg and flung him out the window. It's kind of rude. When Half Chicken was tumbling through the air, he called out, "Oh, wind, help me, please." And the wind answered, "You helped me when I needed help. Now it's my turn to help you." And the wind blew fiercely. He lifted Half Chicken higher and higher until the little rooster landed on one of the towers of the palace. From there you can see everything you want. Half Chicken with no danger of ending up in the cooking pot. And from that day on, weathercocks have stood on their only leg, seeing everything that happens below and pointing whichever way their friend the wind blows. The end. So, here is our follow-up work for the day. Dig deeper. So we're going to use these pages to learn about cause and effect and point of view. Then read Half Chicken again and use what you learned to understand it better. That's why we do reading skills. It helps us to understand better. Cause and effect. In Half Chicken, one event often makes another event happen. When the cook puts Half Chicken in the hot water over a fire, Half Chicken asks the fire not to burn him. Being put in the hot water is the cause. Asking the fire for help is the effect. As you read, ask yourself what happens and why. Use text evidence from the words and pictures to help you answer. You can fill in a chart to list causes and effects. So they gave you one there. Try to come up with 2 or 3 more causes and effects. Go back through the story, read it again. All right, and we talked about point of view. Point of view, characters in a story sometimes think about the same event in different ways. Each character has a different point of view. As you read a story aloud, think about how the characters feel about what is happening. Think about why they say what they say, and use a different voice for each character to know how the character feels. So that example of the cook felt really excited and happy to use the chicken for the soup, whereas the chicken did not. He was not happy at all. Okay, so that was making a chart, listing a few examples of cause and effect from the story. That is your follow-up work for Monday. Tuesday is, you can skip the questions. If you want to do those, by all means, you may. Tuesday's work is write about reading. Half Chicken was very vain. However, he also showed that he could be thoughtful of others. Think of the ways Half Chicken was thoughtful and helpful. Write a paragraph to explain ways he was helpful. Use text evidence from the story. Write an opening sentence to begin your paragraph. Write a closing sentence at the end. So an example of your opening sentence could be, Half Chicken was helpful in many ways. And then you can write the different ways that he was helpful, citing your text evidence. So that is Tuesday's follow-up work. For Wednesday, so let's read this story and I'll show you what the prompt is for Wednesday. So your short little story, The Lion and the Mouse, I know a lot of you are really familiar with this story. It says, once a lion was sleeping peacefully on the grass. Then a mouse ran up his tail. The lion woke up. He grabbed the mouse and flung it. The mouse went tumbling across the ground. Please don't eat me, the mouse cried. I promise that I will help you one day if you let me go. You help me, the lion laughed. I will let you go because you are so funny. Later, the lion was having a drink at a stream. He saw that a campfire blazed across the way, and the camp was empty. Hunters must be near, he said. Just then, a net fell on him. The lion was tangled in it. He roared with all his might. Suddenly, the mouse appeared. I will get you out in no time. The swift mouse nibbled at the net. Soon the lion was free. I didn't believe you could help me, said the lion. You saved my life. It was simply my turn to help you, said the mouse. So your work for Wednesday, text to text, compare and contrast. So obviously you're not doing it with a partner unless you're doing it with a parent. So retell the main events of Half Chicken and The Lion and the Mouse. Then tell the lesson learned in each. Talk about how the lessons are the same and different. So you're basically going to be writing what are the main things that happen in Half Chicken and the main things that happen, or if you want to make a Venn diagram so you can have your Venn diagram or your 2 circles that intersect, and the part in the middle is how they're the same, and the parts on each side are how they are different. So talk about their lessons. The lessons they learned both involve helping others, but also how are they different. So that is your work for Wednesday. And Thursday, you get a little grammar. Grammar. We're looking at irregular action verbs. We want to know what our action verbs are. Verbs like run, come, see, and go name an action that is happening now. But they do not add ed to these verbs to tell what happened in the past. Instead, they use ran, came, saw, and went. They're irregular. We call them irregular action verbs when we can't just add ed to the end to talk about the past tense. So over here is our examples. What is happening now? I run down the road. What happened in the past? I ran down the road yesterday. Please come to the farm to look at the chicken. Happening now. People came to the farm to look at the chicken last fall, happened in the past. They see the rain falling, is now. Yesterday they saw the rain falling. We go to the plaza, or we went to the plaza last year. So you're going to read each sentence aloud, change each underlined verb to tell what happened in the past. You can write them on a piece of paper instead of telling them out loud. And then over here it says, when you write, use exact verbs. They make your sentences interesting and tell your reader more about what is happening. So without the exact verb, it says, the chicken went down the road. With an exact verb, the chicken tumbled down the road. It makes it more interesting. We can even visualize the chicken tumbling. Okay? So it gives you some examples here of exact words. Instead of run, you could say race, zoom, dash, speed. Instead of see, we could spot or watch, view or spy. Instead of go, we can move, chase, leave, or flee. Instead of come, we can near, enter, reach, or arrive at our destination. So when you revise, oh, no, that's nothing. Okay, so it doesn't say, but I would like you to, so you're going to first write your 4 sentences over here with the correct past tense verbs, which you can see right here. You have your examples. And over here, I would like you to pick an exact verb, like up here, and you can change these sentences over here. So rewrite these sentences with an exact verb. So you're going to do 2 things with those 4 sentences. Write the correct past verb of your irregular verb, and then change it to an exact verb. All right? Okay, so that is your work for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I hope you enjoyed this story, this folk tale, and we'll see you later.